Did Matthieu Blazy just turn Chanel into Bottega 2.0, or did he switch the lights back on at a house that had forgotten how to glow? Tonight we're doing receipts, construction, casting, codes, psychology, the market. If you want noise, there's plenty online. If you want fashion, you're home. Where fashion is right now. This season, the industry finally exhaled. Less chaos, more elegance. After years of meme clothes and shock tactics, the conversation moved to legacy, authorship, and responsibility. Is an artistic director a caretaker of memory or an entertainer for the algorithm? Our answer, the best are translators. They take yesterday's language and make it legible to today. What Blazy showed at Chanel, SS26, he staged a universe, literally. Planets suspended above the runway, not as empty spectacle, but as a metaphor. We all look at the same sky, universalness and very Chanel. Cosmic motifs, pearls as stars, the romance of astronomy that's been part of the house since Coco's era. Silhouette, shoulders softened, waists dropped, skirts with movement. It breathed. The collection toggled between boyish tailoring and hyper-feminine dresses, the very tension Chanel invented. Tweed, the house's heartbeat, was redefined, airy, see-through, crocheted, fringed at the edges like meteor tails. That's not nostalgia, that's technique. The receipts, construction and craft, shirts by Charvet, not merch, menswear level make. You could see the Chanel Tissuette Technique Charvet label and the subtle, almost ceremonial cut. And yes, the chain sewn into the hem, a nod to the weighted hems of the classic jacket so the shirt falls perfectly without fiddling. That's house literacy. Hardware and logos. The witty Chanel habit of hiding the CC everywhere returned. Clasps that throw a CC shadow. Chain links that read as logos only on movement. Easter egg branding instead of billboards. Quiet, clever, expensive. Bags with humor. From cosmic minaudières to feather pillows of light, Chanel's mischievous side is back, but filtered through couture handwork rather than gimmick. Shoes. Sleek, piped, almost architectural pumps and slingbacks. Not retro for retro's sake, they sharpened the long columnar lines of the dresses. This is the language of a designer obsessed with how clothes behave, not just how they photograph. People aren't wrong to feel echoes of Blazy's Bottega years, fringe, artisanal density, and interest in material truth. But those aren't Bottega-isms, they are Blazy-isms. He had them before, and he brought them here to serve Chanel's codes. Key differences: proportion and posture. At Bottega, he carved weighty, grounded silhouettes. At Chanel, he lightened the body and let garments hover. Dropped waists, fluid tweeds, slinky bias dresses. Surface versus structure. Bottega was often about leather alchemy. Chanel here is about textile alchemy. Gauze, tweeds, crochet, embroidery, feathers. Same mind, different instrument. Attitude. Bottega's cool was private club severe. Chanel's is mischievous, social, a little flirt. That's house spirit, not copy-paste. So no, it's not Bottega with tweed. It's Blazy applying his craft brain to Gabrielle's and Carl's vocabulary. Community temperature check, and why it feels so loud. We've seen the whole spectrum online. Chic, sophisticated, promising. Too safe, expected. New Chanel woman, the Bottega woman with more money and tweed. Fresh, inciting, generational. Craftsmanship on show. Here's the psychology. First collections trigger anchoring and projection. People project what they miss, bring back Carl's theatre, or what they fear, don't turn my house into another brand. Add nostalgia bias. Carl's early years were called tacky by some at the time, and now they're canon. Perspective needs time. One collection isn't a verdict. Carl steered Chanel for roughly 3.5 decades. Comparing one summer collection to 30+ years of output is not analysis, it's hunger for certainty. You can critique a debut, please do, especially if you're a customer. But the fair way to judge a tenure is across an arc. RTW, pre-collections, couture, accessories pipeline, red carpet, store buys, women actually wearing it. We're at the first chapter. What served the client? Wearability with wit. Those Charvet shirts will fly. Tweed skirts with the softened fringed edge will be wardrobe glue. And the accessories, bags and shoes, are where houses print money. The balance between playful and collectible was smart. Discretion over shouting. Hidden logos, artisanal surfaces, and calmer branding match where luxury clients are right now. Status telegraphed by make, not megaphones. Versatility via styling. Many looks could skew young or grown depending on how you wear them. Exactly what we heard from people who noted it could read younger or mature depending on styling. That's good business. What didn't land for us, these are solvable. They're not identity problems, they're pacing and styling. Heritage honored without embalming. What made longtime Chanel lovers smile? Camellias and cosmos. Florals that move, embroidered stellations on bias-cut gowns. Emotion, not cosplay. Pearls and chain. Reinterpreted as function, not just decoration. The chain weight in hems. Hardware that hides jokes for the wearer. Jackets. Softened. The iconic boxiness relaxed, sleeves pushed, shoulders sloped. It felt lived in, not museum piece. That's exactly the line between emotion and nostalgia. He didn't costume the past, he metabolized it. Casting, ambassadors, and meaning. Aurore Diang closing the show mattered. Observers noted how rare black closers have been historically at Chanel. Seeing her command the finale underlined a broader reset. And the appointment of Ayo Edebiri as an ambassador, widely remarked upon as a first for a black woman, signals a shift in who Chanel imagines standing at the center of its story. Representation at this level isn't a press release. It affects who buys, who feels addressed, whose elegance the house chooses to celebrate. Why the safe read is partly the point. Luxury brands today are navigating a buyer who wants longevity. That's not an excuse for boredom, it's a design challenge. Blazy's answer was to quiet the volume and raise the craftsmanship. Logos tucked in shadows. Set design that gives wonder without drowning the clothes. A calm surface with obsessive interiors. That's an intelligent response to a market done with disposable hype. So, Chanel or Bottega? Here's our firm stance. This was Chanel by Matthieu Blazy, not Bottega in a tweed coat. You can trace his signature. Movement through fringe, obsessive surfaces, craft used as storytelling. But the values served are Chanel's. Wit, women's freedom of movement, clothes that flirt with boyishness and bloom into romance. Think of it like this. Coco gave women the right to move. Karl taught them to perform. Blazy, in his first chapter, taught the clothes to breathe again. Buying lens. What's worth your money? If you're building a Chanel wardrobe from this collection, the Charvet shirts with the weighted hem, future staples. The airy tweed skirts with distressed edges, day to dinner and unmistakably house. The piped pumps and slingbacks, they redraw the line of the leg, they'll anchor everything. One witty bag, cosmic minaudière or a subtle shape with hidden hardware, because Chanel should always smile a little. That's where design, heritage and longevity intersect. Final word. We'll always be honest with you. We like this debut. Not perfect, not a coronation, a foundation. And that's what you want from a first outing. A thesis strong enough to grow, supple enough to surprise. If you felt bored, say it. If you felt relieved, say that too. Criticism is the love language of fashion when it's informed. But let's retire the lazy comparison. One show does not stand against 35 years. Give it a season, give it a couture, give it a pre-collection, give it a store visit. Then we judge the arc like adults who love this craft. Now tell us below, which look changed your mind? Which detail made you lean closer to the screen? And for those calling it Bottega with tweed, after tonight, still sure? We'll see you in the next deep dive. Fashion deserves a firm voice, you deserve facts, and Chanel deserves time. Fashion is emotional, but emotion needs time to mature. One collection isn't a verdict, it's an introduction. Matthieu Blazy didn't come to erase Karl. He came to recenter Chanel on what it was built for: freedom, movement, and craftsmanship. You can't compare 35 years of Karl's Chanel to one summer collection. That's not analysis, that's impatience. But here's what's certain. Blazy didn't imitate, he translated. The tweeds that breathe, the shirts with the chain-weighted hems, the playful bags, the sense of intimacy in how every fabric falls, all of it shows understanding, not copying. He took Chanel's past and reprogrammed it for a woman who lives now. And for all the noise, one truth stands. This is still Chanel. Not a costume, not nostalgia, but a new rhythm. Whether you loved or disliked it, you felt something. And that's what great fashion does. It starts a conversation. Because the point isn't to decide who's right. It's to keep looking, learning, and remembering that fashion isn't a trend cycle. It's a dialogue between designers, decades, and the people who wear it. This was the beginning of Matthieu Blazy's Chanel. Let's give it the space to become a story worth remembering.